Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're exploring something really fascinating, the Kundalini snake experience.
Hmm.
This is based on a really compelling personal account that you, our listener, shared with us, and it touches on some deep connections to ancient wisdom too.
Absolutely. It's a great reminder, isn't it? We spend so much time looking outwards.
Right, external adventures.
Exactly. But the inner world, it holds this, well, this huge, often untapped potential.
So our mission for this deep dive is really to understand the core parts of this experience you described.
Yeah. Unpack it a bit, draw out the key insights, see how they link up with those ancient perspectives mentioned.
Think of it as getting a feel for this powerful inner current.
Precisely.
Okay, so let's jump in. The account starts with an early morning meditation.
Right. Using techniques from the Mafu lineage, which is known for energy work.
And there was already this feeling of like deep joy, high vibration, inner peace, that sort of
A
thing.
really positive baseline state, it sounds like, almost preparing the ground, maybe.
Yeah, perhaps. And then suddenly, this shift, a powerful energy surge.
Mm-hmm.
But, and this seems important, it wasn't external, it came entirely from within.
That's crucial. It really points to that inherent capacity we all have. Just waiting.
It sounds pretty intense, a visceral kind of awakening.
Definitely. And that state of joy beforehand.
Yeah,
Maybe it made the system more receptive.
could be. Then came the vision, a coiled cobra,
Wow.
right at the root chakra. So the base of the energetic spine, our connection to the physical, our grounding point.
Yeah, the anchor.
Yeah.
And the coiled cobra. That's such a potent symbol.
What does it typically represent there?
Well, it's often seen as primal life force itself, untapped potential, raw vitality.
Okay.
So seeing it at the root chakra really highlights this foundational energy as the bedrock of, well, everything else in our system.
Makes sense. So this cobra then starts to rise,
Slowly, yes. Up along the spine, that central energetic channel.
like a conduit.
Exactly. And the feeling was apparently incredibly raw, transformative energy.
But understandably, fear kicked in.
Ah, yes. The ego's response.
The account describes it as the ego, our sense of I reacting because its usual boundaries felt like they might be dissolving.
That rings true.
Hmm.
When you encounter something so vast within yourself, those familiar limits can feel threatened.
It's like the ego trying to maintain control. Right.
Precisely. It's that classic dynamic.
Hmm.
The drive to grow versus the fear of the unknown, the fear of losing that defined self.
So what was the turning point? The account emphasizes something crucial here.
Right. It was acknowledging the fear,
Okay.
but not letting it derail the whole experience.
Right.
Instead, choosing to allow it to continue, trusting the process.
Trusting the intelligence behind it all, that sounds hard.
Oh, absolutely. It implies a really deep trust in your own intuition, maybe. A willingness to surrender to something beyond the everyday mind.
Maybe some previous inner work helped in that moment?
The account sort of hints at that, yeah. That ability to navigate the fear didn't just come out of nowhere, perhaps.
So the energy, this cobra, keeps ascending all the way towards the third eye.
Mm-hmm. That center near the pituitary gland, linked with intuition, higher perception.
And the account mentions that different things happened along the way. It wasn't just one smooth ride.
No, exactly. As the energy moves through the different chakras, the idea is that it clears blockages
Ah,
and awakens dormant capacities associated with each center. So, yeah, a multi-stage inner journey.
so while this account focuses on reaching the third eye, sometimes it goes further.
Often, yes. The journey is frequently described as culminating at the crown chakra, which relates more to unity, connection to the bigger picture.
Fascinating. Okay, then the account brings in ancient texts, specifically the Vedas.
Right. And the perspective here is really interesting. They're not just seen as like old religious books,
What then?
more like echoes. Echoes of very real ancient human experiences with these fundamental life energies.
So the descriptions of the serpent power, the Kundalini, in the Vedas, are viewed as a kind of map.
A map of the inner landscape. Exactly. A guide for awakening your own potential. It shifts the focus entirely, doesn't it?
It really does, from doctrine to direct experience.
Yeah. It suggests the Vedas are practical records of subjective states, offering a framework for your inner journey.
And the experience itself reinforced this feeling that facing fear was necessary.
Necessary to reach a different level of consciousness.
The serpent is often a symbol of transformation, right? Shedding skin.
Absolutely. And that fits perfectly here. The Kundalini rising is linked to shedding layers of fear, conditioning limited perceptions,
So integrating those shadows, as the account calls them.
is what allows the energy to rise fully, to unlock that higher awareness. That intense energy acts like a catalyst.
Confronting what holds you back.
Precisely. And it's not always easy, of course. It can bring up difficult stuff.
Sure.
But working with those shadows consciously creates space for real growth. The shedding skin metaphor is just perfect for that.
What really strikes me is this core idea that this immense potential, this powerful energy,
Exists dormant inside everyone.
yeah, like a coiled dragon, the account says.
A great image.
But we're often so focused on the external, the physical, the temporary stuff.
That we just don't notice this huge inner reality.
Yeah. What are we missing? It really makes you think.
It points to a big imbalance in modern life, maybe. External achievements versus inner awareness. That coiled dragon idea really captures the sheer scale of potential just sitting there.
And the account even suggests that the ancient scriptures themselves, they came from this.
From direct, practical inner experiences, yeah. States of consciousness people access through practices like meditation, Kundalini awakening.
So the original point wasn't necessarily literal history or theology.
According to this view, no. It was rooted in direct experiential knowing. But maybe over time, that direct connection faded, leading to interpretations becoming more external, more rigid, literal history, fixed doctrines.
Losing the experiential core.
Exactly. This perspective suggests the real wisdom isn't blind faith, but that personal realization of these inner truths. The scriptures become signposts, pointing you back inside.
And this Kundalini experience, for the person involved, was undeniable proof.
A direct encounter, yeah. A powerful reminder that those ancient maps really do point to an inner universe.
A universe within us, with this dormant fire just waiting.
Which leads beautifully into that quote mentioned at the end from Zoran. The greatest power is not found in the clash of armies, human, but in the silent uncoiling of the serpent within your own soul.
Wow, that really lands, doesn't it?
It does, shifting the whole concept of power inward.
Yeah, from external conflict to internal self-discovery. That silent uncoiling. It suggests this deep intrinsic force with transformative potential far beyond any outer struggle.
So for you listening, especially the person who shared this journey and anyone else intrigued by all this,
We thought we'd offer a gentle exercise.
we're calling it drag trial, sensing the serpent.
So find a quiet spot, sit comfortably, spine relatively straight,
Okay.
gently close your eyes. Just bring your awareness to your breath for a moment. Notice its natural rhythm.
Just settling in.
Now softly bring your attention down to the base of your spine, the root chakra area.
Right at the bottom.
And just gently, in your mind's eye, imagine a coiled serpent resting there. No need to force anything.
No pressure.
Just acknowledge its potential presence. Breathe softly into that area. No expectations.
Okay.
Just notice. Can you perceive any subtle shifts, maybe warmth, a tiny vibration, or even just a slightly heightened awareness there?
It's really just about being present with that possibility, isn't it? That dormant energy within.
Exactly. It's an invitation, really, to gently tune into your own inner energetic landscape.
Not striving for fireworks, just fostering a quiet connection.
Connecting to your inner being, the subtle energies that might be there.
Yeah.
And on that note, as you think about this vast potential described as dormant within, we'll leave you with the final thought to ponder. What might it mean in your own life to gently start exploring and acknowledging this incredibly rich inner landscape?
Something to mull over.
Definitely something to consider maybe long after this deep dive finishes.